Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together, we are
TwinFinity. We are Twin Flames, back with another Creating Union video. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. In fact, before we started, I was like, I don't even know how to do one of these. It's been so long. We actually wanted to do one a long time ago, and the one that's been in my head to do is the Creating Union through clearing triggers. But it just has never been time to do it. Every time I want to, it's like, no, the energy's just not right.
It's like something has been triggered in the energy, so decided to not do it.
Triggered. Body.
Yeah.
Your body.
No, we've had this one waiting for a long time. I bet you it's been 3 weeks.
Oh, months. Because we've talked about it in our last 2 question and answer videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. But this is how cool the universe and spirit is. Not that you may be watching this during Mercury retrograde, but if you are, Mercury retrograde just started. This is November of 2019, and what a perfect time to do a video about clearing triggers. So the universe is so smart.
Lots of people are triggered by all sorts of different events like Mercury retrograde, even if it isn't going after them specifically. Sometimes they just become afraid of it, and they act or do things differently, or even change their belief system. Oh, I can't do this because it's Mercury retrograde. Well, I'd always say at least try to do something, and then if Mercury retrograde runs over it, well, then okay, that's what happens.
Some people are like, nope, I'm not doing it. It's retrograde.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, this is not a video about retrograde. This is a video about clearing triggers. And just to clarify, with these videos that we're doing, this whole series on creating union, there's different topics, and they are not needed to be watched in any specific order. It's not like union happens in any specific order. And we're also not talking about just union with your twin. We're first and foremost always talking about union within, because you can't have union with anybody else until you have union with self. So always, we're talking union within first, union with your twin, and union with everyone, because we're moving further and further into unity consciousness. So these videos, these topics can help you with all of that, creating union with yourself, with your twin, and with others. And they don't have to be done in any order, and you might want to watch them multiple times, because just because you clear a trigger now might mean you need this video in a little while to help you clear another trigger. You never know.
Triggers.
Triggers. We love triggers. No, we don't. I don't think anybody loves triggers.
What is a trigger?
Well, let's talk about what triggers are. This is the part that's the hardest, because there's so much that happens in a trigger.
And there's so many different sub-definitions of triggers too. But generally what you hear people say is, something triggered me. And most of the time, it's in a negative way.
Yes.
Something comes along that just rubs you the wrong way.
Yes. So it causes what we class as negative emotions, right? Whether it's anger, fear, rejection, insecurity, jealousy, it could be a huge amount of different things.
Like just before doing this video, we were sitting here and the dog jumped up on Angie's lap and then came over to me, and I was wearing a pair of shorts, and the dog starts to lick my knee. And this kind of happened one of our other videos.
Very recently.
Very recently, and yes, and it totally triggered me, because I sometimes need to stay focused when I do something, especially like a video. So I was like, okay,
yes,
dog, take yourself upstairs and go lock yourself in a room. We are busy. And I realized just before doing a triggering video that I've been triggered by the dog. So about 30 seconds of Angie and I looking back and forth at each other, and she's questioning whether I'm even ready to do a video. I said, okay, I'm going to go put on long pants. That'll at least make it so I don't get my knee licked in the middle of a video. Yeah. And you see, that's just what happens. Triggers just come along and you just fly off into left field. Or I suppose if you're left-handed, I suppose you'd fly off into right field. Does that work?
Maybe.
I'm trying to trigger her with bad humor.
It's gonna, don't worry, I'm already there. I'm just holding it all in.
See? That's another thing that happens with triggers.
That's right.
Yeah, you hold it in and you hold it in, and all of a sudden
and then you go, bah!
a little thing comes along and blammo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just quickly to go back to definition, I love Rob's little explanation. That's so perfect. Defining triggers, though, if we want to use like an actual definition, it's often, now I had this all in my head and I lost it. What was I going to say?
Something happens that creates a strong,
Yes.
uncontrolled reaction.
Thank you.
Where you have to vent, and most of the time it's negative.
Yes. So usually it's a reaction rather than an action, meaning it's uncontrolled. Because when you act, you're in control. When you're reacting, you're not in control. And usually what is happening with the trigger is there's some sort of unhealed piece inside of you that this trigger, this action, this whatever has happened is like poked at that wound. And then it goes, ow! And then that's what causes the reaction.
Years ago, I called these landmines. Someone would come along and stomp on one of your landmines.
Yeah.
They're just walking along, doing their thing, whatever they happen to do. All of a sudden, boom, they blow you up. Yeah, landmines.
Yes, I like that. I don't know if we've ever even talked about that before, have we?
A long time ago. It's been a long time since I've used that reference.
Okay, it's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
So, okay, now that we understand what a trigger is, what do we want to do? How do we want to clear them? And first of all, why do we want to clear them?
How about, before we go talking about clearing, even though you're totally ready
I'm
to
ready,
clear,
I'm ready, I'm ready.
See, I'm getting in the way of her going on to the next
You're
bit.
triggering me.
How about recognizing that you've been triggered?
Yes.
You know what? When you've been triggered and you're just almost at a loss for words, or you're responding in a way where you're going, I'm doing a response, and why am I doing this? I think one of the best things to do is to stop. Just really stop doing what you're doing, because most of the time you're going to be verbalizing. Either that, or else you're going to be standing there with a look on your face, and your fists are going to be all clenched because you're just trying to hold in that emotion. It's coming out anyway. Stop.
Yes.
Stop. Recognize that you've been triggered.
Yes.
And you know, if you're with someone, for example, Angie and I, we were also talking about this right before the video. It would be nice if you had a little code word, like just a word where you could say, like triggered, meaning I've been triggered and I'm struggling with it.
Or a landmine has been stomped on.
Landmine.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Landmine, that's good.
And at least the other person knows that you're struggling.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them not to take it real personally and counter trigger right back at you. But that's a whole nother story.
Yes. So before we go into this, why don't we carry on with you just talked about how to clear them. Why don't we keep going with that?
Well, I like the idea of the why to clear them.
Okay.
Because, you know, sometimes if you just stop, you think you're over it. But you're not.
No.
Because you still don't have that clarity of what has happened.
That's right. Okay, so when we're talking about clearing triggers, why do we want to clear them? So imagine you're this beautiful, if we can get this in the light, you can see it even better. You're this beautiful, bright light. All you are is light and love. But because we have wounding, we have traumas, we get things happening to us. We get all these traumas that happen, and they're causing all of us to block out. Am I putting these on right side up? Oh, not really.
Oh, I like this one. Squish that one on.
There we go. So now,
well,
we're losing hearts too.
The heart fell over.
This is what happens when you're triggered. Your heart even falls apart.
Do I have a spot for this one?
Sure you do. Sure you do.
Right there.
There.
Oh.
Now look at what's happened to your poor, beautiful, bright light and soul essence. It is now all covered in traumas and
the
fears.
Light can't get through.
No, not at all. So every time something happens, it hits one of these and it recauses trauma and issues, and it triggers some jealousy and some mistrust.
And makes it harder for you to add to your light because it's just reflecting away.
Exactly. Exactly.
These are like little band-aids.
Yes. So, like Rob said, in order to clear the triggers, the first thing you need to recognize is that you've been triggered. So when you stop, because we usually want to react, when you can go, wait, whoa, I'm realizing I'm in that fight or flight mode. Let me just stop. Next thing you want to do is look at yourself and figure out which one of these has been stomped on. These are all your landmines that Rob was talking about. Which one? Maybe there's a couple.
Mistrust, doubt, self-worth,
Jealousy, rejection.
rejection. Oh, there's some on the other side.
Here, you read them all.
Insecurity, fear, abandonment.
Self-worth.
I think we got them.
I think so. And you might have others. Your twin might have others. Strangers that you don't even know might have others. So when you can, first of all, stop, then second of all, look at yourself and figure out what just happened. Which one of these traumas, these old wounds, has been touched, has been re-injured. Then what you want to do is start to heal that wound. And this is why triggers and this video, like we were saying at the beginning, you might need to watch it over and over, because each time you're triggered, it might be a different wound. It might be the same wound that's triggered multiple times, because don't forget, healing happens cyclically, right? We go inwards and inwards and inwards. It's not like you heal one thing and then it's done and you never have to look at it again. Sometimes healing takes time and time again before you really get to that deep, deep trauma root and clear it fully.
Recognition might just take a minute or two, or maybe it takes 5 minutes, or maybe it takes a day. Sometimes it can take a week to figure out why you blew up.
Totally. Or even longer. I know this past summer, I was hugely triggered by something, and I had to meditate and meditate. It took me, I think, at least a week. And I was so mad. I was stomping around the house for a week, and it just took a long time to figure out what the core wound was.
And sometimes you need to be triggered differently from the same issue.
Yes.
For you to go, well, this happened and that happened and that happened and this happened, and all 4 of them seem to have one thing in common. All of a sudden it'll come to light to you why these triggers are being stomped on.
Yes. And
then it'll give you something to work on.
Exactly.
See, and for that reason, triggers are unpleasant generally.
They don't feel great.
No, they don't.
It's not like you're warm and fuzzy.
But at the same time, if you're being triggered, it gives you an opportunity. The positive spin. I like to always go for the positive. It gives you an opportunity to start to learn what is going on with the trigger. It seems to me that unless a person is completely cleared up, and I'd say there probably would be about 50 people in the whole world who have zero ability to be triggered on anything.
I'd love to meet one of those.
Yeah, I don't think I have yet. I think that everybody's still got something that they can be triggered on.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you start to recognize what's happening, then whoever triggered you, whatever triggered you, because let's face it, it doesn't have to be a person. Normally it is. It's something somebody else has done, and let's be honest, most of the time it's our twin. Why? Because they're our mirror.
I was triggered by a dog.
Yeah.
A dog showing love.
That's true.
All over my kneecap.
That's right. So what you want to do is, instead of pointing the finger outward to that other person, animal, whatever it is,
spider coming down from the roof.
Inward. Yeah.
There isn't one of those right now.
No.
I'd be triggered out of here if there was a spider coming down from the roof.
Yes, you would be. Someday that'd be fun to do. Or not.
No.
So when you can own your own emotions and own your own reactions, instead of pointing the finger at someone else, that's where the healing starts to come in. And once you then clear whatever it was that triggered you, you might be able to even take it a step further and go back to that person that triggered you, if it was a person, and own it to them and say, you know what, that whatever you did really triggered me, and this is why. And then you're owning it. You're not blaming them. You're not pointing fingers. You're not creating judgment. You're owning your stuff, which then gives them the opportunity to do the same. Because remember, we're not just mirrors with our twin flame, we're mirrors with everybody. So when you mirror responsible, healthy, controlled emotions to someone else, you give them the opportunity to now own their own feelings and take responsibility for their own life instead of them pointing the finger at someone else.
I think this is going to be a really bad example, but still, it's an example nonetheless. Somebody does something that triggers you over and over again, but each time you've worked your way through it, and you come to a spot where at least you can keep it happy, even if it's not perfectly happy. But then you have an opportunity to go to them and say, "Hey, what you've done or what you've said, it triggered me a few times. Has this happened to anybody else or was it just me?" And it might be an opportunity for them to say, "Yeah, so sometimes I say something and everybody reacts weird to me." And then it might even open up an opportunity to work with someone or help someone who, unknowing to themselves, triggers other people.
Yes.
But that takes a lot of comfort. That takes a lot of comfort in the relationship to begin with, because the whiplash effect could also happen there. What do you mean I said something that triggered you? It's all just everybody else. It's not me. Then you backpedal off of that one and just continue on.
Now, I'm glad you went there, though, because that's the other thing. When you start to recognize what's happening for you, and for example, you have a trigger of abandonment, you start to heal that wound to the point that it's such a small wound, or maybe it's completely gone now, that it's no longer on. And now you have an empty, beautiful space where light's starting to shine through. That then gives you the opportunity when somebody triggers you, or when somebody does something that would normally trigger you in an abandonment way, because you've healed it, you can now go, wait a second, this isn't even an issue for me. You can start to see that it might be their wound. They're acting from a wounded place. So now that you've got some ability for light and love to shine through, your true essence to come through you, you can give them love and compassion rather than having judgment, criticism, or again, reaction. Because you're no longer triggered, you can see the root of what's happening for them. You can see their abandonment issue, or whatever issue it is, and help them with love and kindness rather than reaction and negativity. So do you see how every time you heal one of these, you release it? And then you allow more light, more love. Your true essence starts to shine through more and more and more.
Can I peel one up?
Yes, you can peel lots off.
That's a different topic. Why'd I say that?
Peel some rejection off.
That still works.
Fine, I'm peeling rejection off while I'm all bright red. You're good at doing that to me.
Yeah, okay.
You're lucky that's not a trigger. Here, do you want some insecurity?
Let's call this a positive trigger. Peeling off, okay. Don't know why I'm reacting completely this way, but go ahead.
There you go.
Fear.
You can take some fear off.
Okay.
There we go. Now look it. You're all healed again. You're back to your true essence. Not that we may ever get to that point in this lifetime where we're not, trying to create false hope here. But the point is, the more you are like this, the more then you radiate that energy out to other people, helping them do their healing work, which then creates unity, right? When we're all back to our true essence of love and light, we're all blended as one, and we all reconnect as one, which is unity consciousness, where we're going.
I'd like to just make a comment about getting things this clear. I'd say that if a person was able to deal with half of the things that trigger them or could trigger them, they would almost be a master at clearing triggers. Just getting half of them. Do you realize how much growth that would be if everybody could reduce half of their triggers? Wow. I know. I think that the average person has 20 or 30 things that could put them off the deep end. Somebody driving the speed limit could put somebody who loves to speed over the deep end. What do you mean you're doing the speed limit? Get out of my lane. Get off this road.
That's me. My 10-minute drive to work is all, hurry up! Because I'm usually late for work. So I'm triggered as I'm driving to work.
So,
yes.
Yeah, if you can even get half of your triggers cleared, bravo. Excellent.
Yeah. And another step that you can take when clearing triggers is, thank you. It's starting to get heavy. It's not heavy, but
No,
it's awkward to...
Yeah.
No, don't break that or I'll be triggered.
Okay. Whoops.
Another step you can take if you really want to go this far is you can also then express gratitude, whether you express it to the thing, the person, the whatever that triggered you, or you just want to express it to yourself. But often what I find is that when something has triggered me, I'm able to, once I've, looked at it and been able to heal it and figure out what the trigger was about, I can then give gratitude because I'm like, thank you. You actually helped me clear more of my own wounding. So when you understand that we're all really in the bigger picture helping each other, we often think of triggers as something negative, and the person that's triggered us, we think they're horrible people, whether it's our twin, whether it's a family member, whether it's our boss, whether it's a friend, an enemy. We want to hate that person. But if we can express gratitude, because look at what they're doing. They're helping you clear all of this stuff so it's no longer part of your being. What a gift. When you can see it as a gift, then it turns into a blessing instead of a negativity. So really, triggers are meant to help us. They're not meant to be horrible things.
I agree.
That's all? I thought you would have some big epiphany for me.
No, not yet.
So we were going to share our own example of a trigger from our past, but I don't know if we're going to do that now that you shared the dog trigger.
Oh, there's a couple more to go. How about the badminton trigger?
Okay.
That was a time when we were both triggered over the same event.
We just shared this recently in our live question and answer video. So if you watched that, you kind of know the story, but if you didn't, Rob will share it this time because I shared it last time and I don't want to get triggered by sharing it again.
Well, what's going to happen is I'm not going to say it the same way that Angie wants me to say it, so she'll get triggered and she'll cut in and say it from her point of view. No, tell the story this way.
That's right.
We were going to play badminton. This was our first time around.
Back in 1997.
Yeah, I'd invited her to go to badminton, and I was fairly new to the group, and I was trying to make an impression in the group. But in the meanwhile, I wanted to take Angie there. I knew it was going to be a quieter night for my badminton because, I'm taking Angie. She doesn't normally play badminton, so I was going to have to play a little bit extra hard and to cover for Angie just being a little bit of a newbie. It's just the way it is. I was prepared to handle that. So I go to pick her up from her place. She opens the door, and she's not even dressed in athletic clothes. She's got on a pair of jeans. We're going to play a full speed, watch out birds flying all over the place sport.
He was going to play a full speed sport.
Of course
I was not.
She was just going to get beep, 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 bird over the net. I was going to be clear, smash, backhand all over the place, save the world.
Yes. And what happened?
Well, oh yeah. So I look at this, and I was at a loss for words. So the next thing I said was, "So you all carved up?" Like, in other words.
Well, first of all, he insulted what I was wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he asks if I'm all carved up. In other words, am I ready to be all intense like he is? And I'm like, no, I'm not you. I'm not planning to go be all intense. I'm planning to just go have fun.
Two completely different definitions of fun. From what could have been exactly the same event. But it didn't quite turn out that way.
No, because
I
two very different triggers happen for two people.
Angie decided she was going to stay home.
Because I was completely triggered by his, not his, so much his words, but the energy behind his words.
I was torqued. And that particular night, I think I was pretty happy to leave her at home because I didn't beg her to go change into something a little more gym appropriate.
Nope.
Yeah, we didn't go play badminton together that night.
So what happened for me is my insecurity button, or landmine, using Rob's word, was triggered because I was completely insecure. Here I was with Mr. Fitness, who was like super active and intense and played badminton all the time, and I was brand new to the sport, and I wasn't like super active and fit at the time either. So
apparently she didn't own a pair of gym shorts either.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. Remember when we went hiking, the crazy things I'd wear? I didn't have those kind of clothes because I didn't do. I mean, I biked lots.
She had a book bag for a backpack.
Yeah, but that's a whole other story.
That was a whole different story, and I went, well, that was livable.
So had I been mature at that point and understood triggers, I would have been able to own my stuff at the door and say, look, I'm really insecure about going tonight, so I'm feeling really triggered by what you've just said. Do you think we could work this out and, find a happy medium? But no, I didn't even recognize I was insecure. I didn't know I was being triggered. I blamed it all on him. It was all his issue.
Well,
so you see, when we can own our own stuff instead of pointing the finger at somebody else.
And I didn't give her a chance. When I saw her in jeans and not a sports shirt, I just walked right on her. I didn't give her 1 minute to explain herself. As in, oh, did you not think we were leaving her away? Oh, do you have any athletic gear? I didn't take any empathy whatsoever. I just gave what the bleep are you doing? You ready to go?
Yeah. So often our twins are the ones that trigger us the most, but really it's such a blessing when we can see the gift in it because they're helping us clear all of these wounds. Blessings, gratitude. Thank you for triggering me.
No, you're welcome.
Even though I hated you at the time for it.
But, even let's fast forward to nowadays. I still go out and I do some pretty extreme physical things.
Yes.
It can be lightly snowing outside, and I'll go for a 5K run.
Oh, you mean like tonight?
Like I just finished doing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's snowing.
Which is why the dog wanted to lick you.
Because I was still a little sweaty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I still have to remember that there's going to be times when Angie barely wants to be athletic, and I'm all ready to go, and it's just like old times. But when the feeling wells up in either Angie or myself, we've seen it enough times, we've felt it enough times, that usually we're able to navigate our way through it.
Totally.
And sometimes we even get to do it silently.
Or we can recognize very quickly that we've been triggered because it's practice, right? The more you recognize the triggers, the faster and easier it gets to act and respond rather than react. Because you can go, wait, whoa, triggered, okay, stop, and then process your way through it. And then you can speak to another person and go, hey, I've just been triggered. Let me work through my stuff. Let me do what I need to do, and then I can come back and we can speak or we can move forward. We've often learned to do that now.
And just because we're twin flames in union doesn't mean we don't trigger each other.
No.
But
they're very few and they're very minor.
Or, even if it is a fairly big trigger, usually one or the other of us has the ability to step back from the situation and let it simmer down.
Yes.
And I could run through another example, but I guess I don't need to. Angie stomped on one of my triggers recently.
The grocery store.
And a couple of minutes later, I was able to come back and apologize for my behavior.
Yeah.
And we had a great grocery shopping.
Yeah, he hugged me in the middle of the grocery store and said, "I'm sorry for my response." And away we went. Carried on grocery shopping, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her stepping back and just giving me just a little bit of space.
Yep.
She had no idea she was going to stomp on one of my landmines.
No. And that's the thing, when you recognize that somebody else is rarely doing it intentionally, because they don't know what your landmines are. They don't know what your wounds are, usually.
Gives me something to work on. Because for about a minute before she stomped on my landmine, I was thinking, you're going to do it. You're going to stamp on it. You're going to stomp on it. And when she did, I still couldn't respond appropriately.
Even though you recognized it.
Oh yeah, I knew it was coming. It's just like, the Matrix. The bullets going in slow motion. It's coming at me. Bzz, I'm going, all right, it's going to hit. Ouch.
Well, and that's also why we've been guided to finally do this video now, is because when you can recognize the other things that cause your triggers to come out stronger, like things like either, full moons or deep energy things, like right now we're in Scorpio season, if I have that correct. We're not astrologists.
Yeah,
people,
it's Scorpio time.
So that, can cause things to be stronger responses, trigger you deeper. Also, like we were just saying, retrograde.
How about
being tired?
How about being tired and also being on the last day of 3 days off, and you've saved all your chores for the last day. That was me. I woke up triggered this morning. Normally I take my first day of a string of times off, and I get rid of a few chores so that I dove all into fun stuff for the first 2 days and then saved all the garbage for the end. I woke up triggered.
I have tears in my eyes because I didn't even recognize that until now. See, when you understand what somebody's going through, you can have so much more compassion.
Yeah. And in the end, I had a great chores day.
Yes, you did. You did a lot.
Yeah.
But we won't get into all of that. We're going to let these beautiful people go now.
Yeah.
Yes. So, happy trigger clearing.
Welcome to Triggerland.
Yeah, happy trigger season. If you can, jump off the trigger train, catch yourself and go, wait, triggered, get off the train.
And if you have any comments in regards to triggers, go ahead, send us some.
Yes.
We'll try not to be triggered.
You're funny. All right, we love you guys. We'll be back with more videos soon.
Bye.
Bye.